Good morning and welcome to Workforce Skills with John Morse. It's Monday morning out here in Phoenix, Arizona. A little chilly this morning. We're a little bit below normal, I think, but feels great outside. So what we're going to talk about today is phone usage in the workplace. It's become an issue on a couple of our job sites. We're trying to deal with this, and it seems like some people out there are addicted to social media. It's like crack in their hand. I don't know what it is with your cell phones and that dinging on the phone. I know a while back, a couple years ago, I shut down all the alerts on my phone except for the ring and the text message due to work. All my emails, the alerts got turned off, Facebook, everything. Turned it all down, shut it down. It was beeping, ringing all day long. It was too much. And it was affecting me. I think it affects a lot more of your life than you realize. We've actually had to fire people for using their phone on a job site. We had a guy working for us, came out of our program, out of our class. I think he'd spent about 8, 9 years in prison. Got a phone, got a girlfriend, got a Facebook page, and on the job, he's in a hallway cutting in the ceiling with a brush and I think it was on a 6-foot ladder. And this hallway should have taken him about 30 minutes to cut in the top. He was in there for 3 hours. Every time his phone dinged, he would look at it and he would stop what he was doing and he would answer, he would play with it, do whatever. And it wasted so much time. After warning and trying to get him to understand the reasoning behind this, finally just said, you know what, you can't figure this out. We have to let you go. This is not working out. Now, you have to find a fine line. I understand that we need our phones for emergencies or if you have kids or family with medical issues. I've been there. I understand. You have to be aware of that stuff. But you cannot let that phone control your life during the day when you're supposed to be working. You have to focus on your work. You have to focus on your job. That cell phone can become addicting. Put it down. Turn it off for a while. You know, when I first met my wife, she worked in the operating room at the hospital. She was an X-ray tech. And it was strange because, my previous wife, if I didn't answer my phone in 5 minutes and it was sitting in my truck, I'd miss 40 calls from her. She constantly kept calling. Henceforth, that's probably why she's my ex-wife now. But anyway, the current wife, love her to death. She's the best thing that ever happened to me. But it was strange for me to call her and not have her answer. It was strange for me to have her call me and me miss a call and forget to call her back, and it wasn't a big deal compared to all the trauma that I went through with the first marriage and thinking about that. And I slowly learned that we don't have to be addicted to it. We don't have to answer every message. We don't have to answer every phone call. I've got a couple of superintendents that work for me. One project manager that feels like every time a superintendent calls him or every time a general contractor calls him, he has to answer his phone. If you're in the middle of something, you don't have to answer your phone. That's why we can leave a message. You're going to see who called. There's caller ID. Most of the time, these people, we have their phone numbers and names saved in our phone. You can call them back. It's not the end of the world. You don't have to be at the beck and call of everybody that calls you every second of the day. We have to learn to slow down. We have to learn to take a minute, deal with what's in front of us, and then get to that phone call. That phone call's not going anywhere. All you got to do is pick up and call back. Sometimes you play a phone tag with somebody. That means they're busy too. They're not answering your call every time. So think about it. How does that make you feel when somebody doesn't answer your phone right away, but they do eventually get back to you? I remember growing up, and I'm probably a little bit older than some. I'm 55 years old, and looking back as a kid, we didn't have caller ID as a kid. We didn't know who called. If you had to leave a message on an answer machine. Things have changed. Times have changed. There is caller ID on everything. I get numbers popping up on my phone with a name on there that I've never received a phone call from. So your phones have this information there. So you know who's calling. You can call them back. When it comes to work, dude, it's the Facebook. Stay off that shit. I'm telling you right now, that is going to be the death of somebody on a job site because they're looking at Facebook. We have had to fire guys for posting stuff on Facebook on job sites. We're on a job site right now out here in Phoenix, Arizona called TSMC. It's a microchip plant out of Taiwan. It's the largest construction site in North America. There are 16,000 workers out there. There's horizontal, vertical, and underground construction going on all hours of the day, 24 hours a day. That job is up and running. It is so massive. And there's certain areas that we're working in that we can't even have our cell phones in because of the technology there and what they have. There's no pictures allowed. So as our workers go in, they're assigned a locker. Their personal stuff, their cell phones have to go into that locker. They are not allowed to take their phones in. So what we have is we have two-way radios, and we have certain ones assigned to us that we use while we're down there if we need to. So that's how we communicate. So it's a couple of guys have struggled with this, but it's part of the job description. It's what we have to do. You know, there's other areas of the job sites where you can have your cell phone on. We can take pictures for work-related stuff to deal with in our company, but we are not allowed to post any of those pictures anywhere. You know, we have to sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement with the company before we even step on the job site. So there's a lot of stuff out there that they don't want people to know that's on the job site. So when we're looking at a situation like this, we have to be careful of what we're posting, what we're putting out there. We had a guy years ago, we were painting a hotel out in the city of Surprise. And out there, our scissor lift had broken down. We did not know it in the office. No one called us. The guys on the job, they ended up using a reach fork, put a pallet on it. We had to paint the parking lot light poles. And this guy is on a pallet, on a reach fork, up in the air, posting a video on Facebook talking about how our company put him up there. He's in fear of his life. He's in danger. And if OSHA knew this, we'd be fined. But yet nobody called us. Nobody told us. One of my superintendents walked in my office and showed me the video, and he said, "John, you're not going to believe this. Look at this." I told him, "Get out there and fire him right now. Get him off the job. Get him out of there." He was rolling our company under the bus. He was making OSHA violation claims on this video, and nobody called us. Nobody said anything. They took it upon themselves to get up there and do something like that. So in a situation like that, here we are looking at this and saying, okay, what is the outcome of this? What damage could this have caused to the company? It could have created a shitstorm for us. We don't know what it's going to cause. But for him to do that, to take it upon himself, I'm sorry, I don't need employees like that. I don't need somebody like that working for me that isn't going to even care about his safety, but he's going to act like he does by throwing us under the bus on social media. You have to start thinking about what you're posting. The other thing we look at too, it's like, especially with our superintendents, they all have company phones. Some of the guys have personal phones, company phones. They have their Facebook on there, their social media stuff. Our phones are so smart that it'll link up. It'll give you friend requests on social media, depending on who is in your phone. So all of a sudden you might have a friend request or a recommendation for a friend on there that could be a superintendent of a job that you're on. Well, what do you have on Facebook that you don't want people at work to know about? The problem is you can't hide anything anymore. Everything is out there everywhere. I'm sitting there this weekend talking to my wife about something about water softeners. All of a sudden I'm looking on Facebook. I got water softener ads popping up on my Facebook feed. I never Googled anything. I never looked it up on my phone or on the computer. Neither did my wife. But your phones are listening to you. So you have to be careful what you're saying, what you're doing, what you're posting on there. It can create some damage within the workplace. You know, we've had guys in the past that go out on a Friday night. They're out there drinking and partying and having a good time, and they'll post a video or they'll say something they shouldn't. Could be the language that you're using. It could be what you're posting. It could be where you're at. You have to be careful what you're posting. That stuff, yeah, you might say, "Oh, I deleted it," but somebody can copy that. Somebody can repost it, and it's out there. You have to be careful what you're putting out there. When it comes to the workplace, you have to protect you and your job. When you're in the workplace and you're posting something, you have to be careful who's going to see it. I guarantee you the people that you want to see it probably didn't see it, and the people you don't want to see it are probably going to see it and watch it, and it's going to come back to bite you. You have to be careful. So how do we address this? How do we deal with this? You know, in the workplace, there's certain jobs we're not allowed to have headphones in. We do not allow headphones on any of our jobs. We're on commercial jobs. We're on industrial jobs. Now, on a residential side of construction, completely different. And maybe some of you guys are out there working at a job that they allow you to have headphones in. I'm telling you, for us in construction, for safety reasons, 100% not allowed. Not going to happen. We need you alert. We need you aware. Put the phones down and get to work. You know, if you need a certain ringtone is what we recommend for people in our company. If you have a company phone and you're working on a job, or even if you don't have a company phone, set up a special ringtone for all the people at work. That way you know it's a work situation. Set up a separate ringtone for family members. That way you know it's a family member. We've created every rebuttal you give us, we're going to come up with a solution. You know, it's not about thinking outside the box anymore. The box has been crushed. I'm going to find an answer for everything. I don't think outside the box. There is no box. Everything is on the table right now. So you come up with, well, I need it for this. Well, I'm going to give you an answer. We're going to come up with a solution. We as a company as a whole, when we brainstorm, we put our heads together and we all come up with ideas and we figure out what's going to work to make it better. Everything from, I think I mentioned before about one of our guys that could not wake up, his alarm on his phone. We found an app on his phone with the alarm where it has a math question. So he has to answer it to turn the alarm off. It forces him to wake up. We will come up with a solution for everything. For your phones, change your ringtones. You can have multiple ringtones on your phone. Hell, I think you can have up to 20 ringtones in your phone list, if not more. Look it up. Find a way to make this work. So put the phones down and work. You're not getting paid to talk on your phone. You're not getting paid to be on social media all day. You know, I know some of the guys, especially in our business, you know, they're on the painter's chat room or they're posting videos and they want to show their work. I'm okay with that once in a while. But if I get a guy every single day making videos of himself at work or taking selfies and I'm seeing this stuff posted on Facebook, there's going to be an issue. You have to focus on your job. You're not getting paid to be on your phone. Now, some of you might have to be on your phone at work. That's different. Every situation is a case-by-case situation. But in our business in construction, you should not be on your phones at all. It's a danger. You're just asking for something to happen. So protect yourselves. Protect the company you work for. Take pride in what you're doing. So how are you going to change today moving forward as you're getting out there and working? Put your phone on silent if you can. Put it on vibrate so you don't have to listen to it all day. Change your alerts on your phone. Like I said, I have 0 alerts on my phone except for texting and phone calls. That's it. I used to have it on my emails. Oh my God, it dinged all day. I couldn't handle that. I had to put a stop to it. It's amazing how many people are addicted to their phones. Walk through a mall sometime. Walk through an airport sometime. Watch how many people will literally run into you because their heads are down, looking at their phone, not even paying attention to what they're doing. I love the videos I see online of people where they're walking through somewhere and they walk into a fountain or something, or I've seen people walk into a manhole and drop down because they're not paying attention to their surroundings because of that phone. You know, another issue I see with phones with people in the evenings, you know, I've got to be up at a certain time. I'm awake between 3 and 3:15 almost every single morning. I make sure I'm up. But if I'm going to sleep at night and I've got my phone on me and I start watching TikTok videos or start floating on social media or Facebook, it'll suck you in. It will keep you on there and it's going to keep hitting you with the stuff that you like. These programs, these apps have algorithms that once you like stuff or they see you watching things, it's going to constantly feed you the same thing. It's going to feed you stuff that you like and it's going to keep you hooked on there. I think someone told me one time that on TikTok, if you're on there for a certain amount of time, it's going to tell you or alert you you've been on there too long. I've never seen that. I don't want to see that. It's not going to happen. When I go to bed, my phone is turned off. It's on the charger. It's ready to go the next morning. I don't even need to look at it. I don't need any phone calls coming to me. If there is a family emergency, if there's something that someone really desperately needs to get a hold of me at night, they have my wife's number. They can call her. And her phone never rings at night. So I know if her phone's ringing at nighttime, it's an emergency. So I've put things in place to make this work. That's what you have to do. Change what you're doing to make it work. Quit getting sucked up into that. Because I've seen guys that are late for work in the morning. Man, what happened? Oh, I was laying in bed. I started watching TikTok. Next thing I know, it's 3 hours later. Are you kidding me? Put it down. Put it on a charger. Put it in the other room away from you. It's just as bad having a TV or a laptop in your room. I don't even have a TV in our master bedroom where I sleep. I don't want one in there. I don't need to lay in bed and watch TV. We have one TV in the house, and it's in the front room. It's amazing how many people have a TV in every single room of the house. When it's time to go to bed, it's time to go to bed. Find a way to wind down. Find a way to get yourself settled in. It's that phone can be a killer. It's amazing how it's affected and changes how we function in society nowadays. And when it comes to the workplace, people can't seem to get that disconnect. When I go on vacation, every other year we try to take a vacation somewhere out of the country or somewhere. Our last one was back in August. We went to Alaska, went salmon fishing, had a great time. And for me, when I leave, my phone came with me. If I'm out of the country, typically it won't. But going to Alaska, I took it with me. But I turned my phone on airplane mode and made sure I had nothing coming in. And it's difficult on a 10-day vacation, the first 2-3 days. It's hard for me to wind down. It's almost like going through detox from my phone. No phone calls, no texting, no emails, no social media. All I use it for is to take pictures. So then once I'm back from vacation, then I can post them and do whatever I want with them. That is the only purpose of my phone on a vacation, is to take pictures. And it is difficult those first couple days. Like I said, it's like going through detox. It's a strange feeling. And then finally, I can feel myself start to settle down. I can feel myself start to relax. I forget about work. I forget about what's happening. And that is my moment to finally relax and have a real vacation. I zone out so much on a vacation. I get so relaxed that when I come back, thank God I have my passwords and everything else written down everywhere, because I forget everything. That's how I know I needed that vacation. You have to get away from it. You have to shut down. I know there's families out there that at the dinner table, they tell you, oh, your phones are down. No phones at the dinner table. Or they have certain family functions that they do that there's no phones allowed. We have to learn to disconnect, especially when it comes to work. Work is at one place where you should not be on your phone. You are there to do a job. You're getting paid to do something for your service. Don't distract it with something that you shouldn't have in your hand. Keep it to a point to where you only use it when it's necessary. But John, I got to take pictures at work. Okay, take your pictures. Well, John, I've got a family situation. I'm waiting on that phone call. Then set the ringtone to that certain person that you're waiting on that phone call for. I've been through this. I understand what it's like. I've been through the medical situations with family. When my son was 16, he was diagnosed with leukemia. At the age of 18, he passed away from the disease, from the cancer. I understand. I still had to work. I was a single income provider for my family and dealing with my son's situation. And he was in and out of the hospital nonstop for 2 years. It was a tough situation. And I made it through that. And it was difficult. But you have to find a way to make it work. You find ways to make everything cohesive and work together. It was a difficult time that I went through in that situation. We spent Thanksgivings, Christmases, birthdays, so much time in the hospital. We practically lived there. But we made it through it. We made the situation work. I was still able to work. I was still able to function. I was still able to get all my bills paid. We made the situation work. And I had guys that were relying on me for paychecks on every Friday, and they still came through every Friday for a paycheck. So I'm telling you right now, if I can do it, I know you can do it. Where there's a will, there's a way. You can make this happen. So as you're doing this, as you're going through your day at work, think about what you need to do to be more productive. We talk about this time and time again about being productive at work, and your time at work is for the company you're working for. And we talk about the pay that you're making and what you need to do to make more money out there. I'm telling you right now, if you can put that phone down, your boss sees who's on their phone all day and who's not. We know who's on social media and who's not. I've got my phone on me. Every once in a while during the day, I'll pop in on Facebook and I'll take a look. And I've got a lot of friends on there that are also coworkers or guys that work for me. I can tell what they're doing at work. I can see when they're on there. That is not healthy. It's not healthy for your job. There's times I'm at my desk and I look at it and I'll see somebody on there posting something. And I look at the computer at our CRM program and I look at their hours and I can tell if they're clocked in or clocked out, if they've clocked out for their lunch. I'm hoping you're clocked out for lunch when you're looking at your Facebook during the day if I'm on my computer. If not, we're going to have a conversation. That time is for your job. That time is for the company you're working for. It's not you time to be posting on Facebook. So please be aware of this. It's going to make you more valuable as an employee. You want to bring the most value to the table that you can for the company you're working for. If you can learn to do that, your employer will see more value in you. You're going to have a better opportunity to make more money or move up in the next position. We look at time management. We look at how you manage your personal lives. Do I have a guy coming in every Monday and he's broke and he's asking to borrow $50 to make it through the week, but he's still buying fast food for lunch every day and buying cigarettes every day? That tells me he can't manage his money. He's got other priorities. Pack a lunch. I know it's cheaper to go buy a loaf of bread and some lunch meat and some mayonnaise and mustard at the store than to go to McDonald's every day or Burger King or get that burrito off the fast food truck that's showing up on a job site. Learn to manage yourself. Learn to manage your money, yourself, your time. Last week, we talked about time management. It's very crucial. Same with this. This is still managing your time. Managing your time in what you do day to day. Find the right time to be on social media. Find the right time to be on your phone. There's certain guys. We had a guy a while back. I swear to God, he was in the J. John 20 times during the day, and he'd be in there for 10 minutes every single time. I'm not paying you 20 times a day for 10 minutes to sit in a shitter all day long because I know you're just sitting there on your Facebook or social media. So be aware that people see what you do. Your performance is under review every second of the day that you're on a job site or you're at work. Everybody's watching everybody. And I know there's enough Karens out there working for certain companies that they're going to roll you under the bus. Everybody in the workplace has that one guy that he's rolling everybody under the bus to make himself look better. That's going to be the one guy that'll be on your job site that he's going to get you in trouble. Be aware of these people. Start thinking about how your actions create a reaction from the other people around you. Are you on the phone and they're working, they're constantly working? If you realize and think about this after watching this podcast or listening to this, that, hey, maybe I'm one of the guys on the phone. These guys are working harder than me because of what I'm doing. Think about that. Create more value in yourself. Create more value by staying off your phone. Be more productive in the workplace. That's what you have to do. Your phone can wait. Your social media can wait. You'll have time after work to deal with it. So what else can you do to make yourself more productive during the day? Talked about headphones. Don't have the headphones in. Don't be listening to the music. Another thing I want to talk about today too is about job site safety and what we deal with on these job sites. It's crucial for us to make sure that all our employees are safe. My one goal is that every one of my employees gets to go home after work to their family members. We had a guy working Saturday that fell off of a ladder. It was a 6-foot ladder. He slipped and fell off, pulled a groin muscle, and broke his wrist falling down. At first, he didn't want to go get checked out. He said, "Oh, I'm fine. I think I'll be okay. I can keep working." Nope, we're taking you in to get you checked out. And I'm glad we did because now he's sitting at home and now he has to recover. But in the meantime, what we're going to do is I want this guy to collect a full paycheck. I don't want him to sit at home and not get a full paycheck or have to deal with collecting his sick time or whatever he needs to do to survive. So we're going to bring him into our estimating department. We're going to teach him how to estimate, how to read blueprints. We will do something to make sure this guy still collects a paycheck and he can survive. It was an accident that happened. You know, it's not like it was meant to be, or it was a freak situation. He slipped. That's all it is. But in the meantime, we're going to take care of this employee. We're going to make sure that he's collecting a paycheck every Friday. But at the same time, he's going to learn, he's going to be productive. So how can we make him a better employee? How can we assist him in his situation and help him get a paycheck every Friday, and a full paycheck, so he doesn't have to struggle? That's what we take pride in within our company, is to make sure that our safety is at the top of its game. You know, a lot of our jobs, we're not allowed to have aluminum ladders on anymore. They're all fiberglass. You know, we all wear safety vests, hard hats, work boots. We make sure we have the proper PPE gear that we need to have, safety glasses. I want every one of my employees to go home safe. I want every one of my employees to go home to their family and provide for their families. That's what we're looking for. So what do we do to change those? We're at the top of our game when it comes to safety. We have to be, because of some of the jobs we're on. We're working on 2 different airports here in the Phoenix area. We're out at TSMC, the microchip facility. We have to be at the top of our game on these projects. We're also on multiple projects that are providing material for the TSMC project. So not just that one job is being affected by safety, there's multiple jobs that are linked to it. We have to deal with this. We have to make sure our guys are safe and going home. They have to wear long sleeve shirts on all our jobs. They have to wear long pants on all our jobs. That's just part of the safety requirement. And you might say, well, what about summertime in Phoenix? It's getting hot out there. Yes, it is. And we have to provide water for all our guys. There's a new thing that just came out through the Register of Contractors, the state of Arizona here, about water safety for our employees and guys getting dehydrated. We have to make sure that they get the appropriate amount of breaks if they need to, if they're feeling heat exhaustion. We have to provide what they need to protect them. And as coworkers, we have to look at the guys working side by side with us. We have to protect each other. If you're out there and you notice that one of your coworkers is getting lightheaded, dizzy, let's stop. Let's get him some water, help him out, get him in the shade. Change what you're doing to make sure that you're safe out there. One thing we've trained our superintendents to do is we don't ask our guys, hey, have you been drinking water? Because the answer is always yes. It never changes. The thing that we change now is, hey, when's the last time you went to the restroom? When's the last time you urinated? Well, that sounds like a strange question. But if you're in the middle of summer and it's hot out and you're drinking enough water, you should be peeing every 90 minutes. Every 90 minutes, if you're hydrated properly, you should be peeing out there if you're drinking enough water. And that's what we ask. Hey, when's the last time you peed? Oh, if it's 12 o'clock. Oh, I did this morning when I came to work. And it's 110 degrees out here in Arizona, and you haven't urinated since 6 o'clock this morning, and it's already noon. That's a problem. You're not hydrated. You need to drink more water. It sounds odd, but that's the case. On our huge commercial ice machine we have in the back of our shop, we have a urine chart on there. It's a color chart that tells you what your urine's supposed to look like if you're hydrated. We do everything we can to protect our guys to make sure they're going home. Last thing I need is someone passing out up, hanging from a safety harness out of a boom lift or a scissor lift or off of a 3-story building. I want to make sure they're properly protected. So as summer's coming around the corner, especially out here in Arizona, it's going to start getting hot. Stay hydrated. Make sure you're drinking enough water. Protect yourself. You know, we talk about the phones. That's part of protecting yourself. Stay off the phones when you're up there in a boom or on a scissor lift. You should be having your hands free. You know, that job TSMC that I'm talking about, every piece of equipment that is in a boom or a scissor lift that we take up there has to be tied off with a lanyard. That means our brushes. Imagine painting and your paintbrush has to be tied to a lanyard. If you have a rolling pole, your rolling pole and your roller handle separately have to be tied to a lanyard if you're up in a lift. That's how far this job site has taken the safety issues with us. So it is extreme out there. All our gas cans now have changed because of safety issues out there. Everything we do changed because of the safety concerns and requirements on this one job. And we now carry it over to every single job we're on, making sure that we're safe. There's a lot of jobs we go on and a lot of small ones that the superintendents for the general contractor, some of the safety stuff is not required, but we still proceed as if it is. We are not going to change our work habits, our safety habits, due to someone else's incompetence or lack of caring for the safety on that job site. And moving forward, we will always do this. We're always going to protect our own people. We have to make sure that they are safe to the extent that they're going to go home. I want to make sure everyone is 100% protected. So what are you doing today that you're going to do differently to protect yourself? As you're out there working, think about what you're doing. You know, it's typically the guy that's been on the same job site for 20 years or doing the same job for 20 years. It gets careless. He's the one that's probably going to get hurt. It's not the new guys out there. They're trying to do the right thing. It's typically the guys that have been out there for 20 plus years that they've been doing the same thing over and over, and they do something careless. I look back at all the stuff I've done on the job sites. Man, there was a lot of things back in the day we did that were careless or weren't safe. We put our lives in jeopardy and didn't even think twice about it. You have to think about these safety measures that are being put in place. On the bigger jobs, things are changing. OSHA standards are changing. Everything is changing for the safety of the worker out there. It amazes me out here. You know, we go to Vegas once in a while and we travel over the Hoover Dam and we travel over that bridge. And I remember after many, many years of crossing that time and time again, me and my wife finally took the tour of Hoover Dam, and we're going through there and we watched the video on how it was created and how it was built. And, you know, you look at how unsafe everything was and how it was put together and how fast they did it and how quick they did it. Times have changed. Nowadays, it's for the protection of the worker. It's the protection of the life that's out there. You know, it's not like it was in the old days where everything was just slapped together as fast as they could, as quick as they could. Today, it's about the safety of the employee. It's about the safety of the person on the job site. There are so many rules and regulations and so many protocols put in place that it has affected the price of the job because it takes more time to do it sometimes because of safety measures, and we have to account for that. And we do. Sometimes it's not about the money we're making, it's about the safety of the employee. And I will spend as much as I have to on safety equipment, safety harnesses. We inspect every safety harness that goes on a boom, on a lift. Each one is assigned to each individual person before it goes out. They're inspected periodically. Everything from respirators, our guys are fit tested for the respirators that they wear. You know, if you're doing a job out there and you wear a respirator with cartridges, charcoal cartridges in there, and you just buy one off the shelf and go put it on, you don't know if you're getting the right size. We actually fit test our guys to make sure it's the right size. There's a whole procedure, a video they have to watch. We do a fit test to make sure that they breathe properly through these things. And if you're working for someone that doesn't provide that for you and doesn't get you fit tested properly, then they are not following protocol. You must get fit tested for these. Because if you're wearing it improperly and you still get fumes coming through, because most charcoal cartridges are made for using with lacquers, thinners, oil paints, things that are going to have an odor to it. It keeps that smell out. I remember many, many years ago, I was painting a house for these investors, and whoever lived there had smoked cigarettes in their house to the point to where you could see every picture frame that had come off the wall. There was a yellow residue on this thing. And so we had to use an oil-based primer. We used Kills in there. And I had forgotten my respirator that day, and the house was sealed off. All the windows were masked, and I'm in there spraying, and I just had a rag tied around my face so I could cover my mouth so I didn't breathe in any of the particles. But the fumes were still getting in. I didn't realize how it affected me until I stepped out of that house after spraying into the fresh air and how high it had gotten me from the fumes. And you have to be careful of this. You can damage yourself by doing this. And that's why I say you have to be fit tested. Those fumes can damage you. They can hurt you. The particles you breathe in can hurt you, can damage you. So you have to make sure that you're using the proper equipment. And if your employer is not providing you with the proper safety equipment, then find somewhere else to work. He does not care about you. All he cares about is the money he's making. Find a company that's going to protect you. Find a company that's going to make sure you're safe. There's so many out there that do not care about the safety of their own employees. All they're caring about is the money they're making. Do not work for that company. And I'm not telling you to go out and report them, because that's not the message I'm trying to put out there. Because I guarantee you somebody will report them. At some point, somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to get in trouble. It will happen. It amazes me how many times we've had different situations where we've had government entities come into our business and we've passed with flying colors every single time. It's never been an issue because we do everything by the book. We follow protocol, we follow procedure, whether it's safety, whether it's payroll, whether it's paying guys properly with the time and a half. We e-verify everybody out here in Arizona. That's one of our requirements to make sure they're legal to work in our state and our company. We follow the book completely. That's the type of company you want to work for. That's the type of company that you want to find and you want to make it your home. There's a paint company out here in Arizona, and they've done a few jobs. And I remember reading an article in the newspaper about them that they got in trouble for not paying their guys proper overtime. And I'm not sure exactly what the situation was, but I think over a period of 7 years, they had to pay back, and the total amount of fines came up to over $1 million with this company because they were not doing it the right way. There has to come a point in a company where they know they're doing the wrong thing. They're trying to save money. If they're paying you cash under the table, they're doing it the wrong way. If they're paying you 1099 and not a W-2, and they're not taking out taxes, they're trying to cut corners somewhere typically. Unless you're a licensed contractor as a subcontractor of that company, you cannot be 1099. It's against the law. The Federal Labor Board states that. So make sure you're doing everything properly. I'm going to protect you as best as I can. I want to make sure everyone out there is protected. This is about the safety of you. This is about the protection of the employee. That's what we want. Right now, I know I'm an employer and I employ a lot of people. And I know there's a lot of employers out there that are breaking the law for their own benefit. And I'm going to tell you right now, stay away from those guys. This is about the protection of you as an employee. Protect yourself. Work for the right company. Don't work for some of these dipshits out there that are going to screw you over. You must work for somebody that's going to protect you. So when you find that company, make it your home. Find a way to make it work. You know, there's benefits to it. You know, it's funny how many guys will leave, and I've had guys leave us because they think the grass is greener on the other side, or they go to make more money, and then they just use them to get through that push, that job. It's amazing how many guys always come back to us. It's amazing how many guys realize that they made a mistake and they want to come back. And sometimes we let them, depending on the circumstances of how they left. But it's amazing how many people we do not bring back. You know, don't burn the bridge. If you're leaving a company because you think that the grass is greener somewhere else, leave on good terms. Don't burn the bridge where you're at, just in case you want to come back. The other thing you got to realize too is if you're staying in the same industry, it's amazing how many business owners talk to each other. They know each other in this business. And it's not just my business, it's all business out there. We relate to people and to like-minded people. So if you're in any industry and you're going to burn a bridge at one place and go to another, be careful. It could follow you. That's what you don't want to happen. So protect yourself. Protect your situation. You know, I think the bottom line is just treat others how you want to be treated. You know, that's what it comes down to. You know, don't screw somebody over. Don't take advantage of people. Protect each other. Protect your coworkers. Think about the safety of all of those around you. You know, think about, you know, we talked about the phone situation. How's it look when you're on your phone all day and everybody else is around you working? What do you think they're going to think of you? There he goes again. He's on the phone. We're pulling our weight. He's not working. Could be even worse than that. So protect yourself, protect others, focus on you, focus on your job, focus on the people around you, focus on your safety, focus on being a better person, a better employee. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for employees that want to work, that want something more. And you might say, oh, I'm just here for a paycheck. Those aren't the guys we're looking for. We're looking for the guys that want to make this their home. We're looking for good employees. And I know you employees out there, you guys working a job, paycheck to paycheck, you're looking for a good employer. You're looking for a good place to call home. Look back, depending on your age, how many jobs you've had over your lifetime. When is it time to find that last job? How are you going to find a place that you can call home and retire there? That's what we're looking for. I'm looking for guys that want a home, that want to retire within my company. I've got a buddy, he owns a company, and he tells me, John, I just need employees for 2 to 5 years. Then they can move on to something else. There's no retention. It's just they get to a certain level, and he's okay if they move on. Now, he's a very, very large contractor, but that's not what I'm looking for. I don't want to be that guy. I want guys that are going to be with me for a very, very long time. I want to create a relationship with my employees. I want to get to know each of them by name, know their issues, know their problems, know their families, understand what makes them tick, understand them on a personal level. That's the difference between me as an employer and other guys out there. So you guys out there talking crap about the company you work for, or how bad it is, look for the right one. They are out there. You just got to find it. And once you find it, hang on to it. It's a good place to be. It's comfortable. I had one time, but my goal was to own my own company. That's where I'm at. I want to create a situation where people want to stay at for a very long time. I've learned from all the guys I've worked for that treated me poorly or didn't treat the employees fairly. I knew I was going to be different. I knew I was going to be different with the guys that worked for me. I was going to treat them the way I knew I did not want to be treated. All those times that I was treated poorly or unfairly, that wasn't going to be me. I was going to flip the script, and I was going to do it the right way with these guys working for me. That's the goal. So as you go about your day and you're thinking about what we're talking about here and what you need to do, take an inner look at yourself. What do you need to do to change? It's about safety today. It's about staying off your phone and being safe. It's about safety equipment, protecting the people around you, and finding a good place to work. So stay hungry out there, protect yourself, stay off the phones. You can get on them after work. Or if you're listening to this while you're working, think about it. Maybe wait till after work on the drive home. Thanks for listening, guys. Stay hungry.